Welcome to Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone. We're live inside Muscatine Hy-Vee on 2nd Avenue in Muscatine. Streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Now, here's Tony Tone.
Almost didn't take a sip of the Starbucks coffee to start the show. I just like for people that watch this at night, they're probably thinking, that man is addicted to caffeine. It's 10:30 p.m. and he's sitting there with a giant... It's 8:30 in the morning. Spoiler alert. I mean, we could do the show at night. It would be a whole different show, I think. This would be a martini. I can't drink on the job. I'm kidding. This is just... what is this? You could ask for the Tony Tone if you went to Starbucks. This is technically an iced Americano with 1 pump of sugar-free vanilla. This is heavy whipping cream. It's low carbs and about 28 grams of fat, which is delicious. And the espresso kicks in about 20 minutes, and that's when I start talking real fast and nervously sweating. I'm glad that you're with us. It's the 8th of October, another nice-looking day outside. Temperature-wise, a little cold this morning, trying to get 2 kids to 2 different schools. 4-year-old had the coat on when we got in the car. By the time we got to school, his coat was in his bag, and 7-year-old, no idea where the coat was. So I gave him instructions. I said, get into school, go to your locker, open your locker, bet your coat's in there, pal, because his job at school is the greeter, right? So my son, Henry, is at McKinley. Al has been there for a while. The official greeter welcomes everybody. Henry's job, co-greeter. Can't co-greet without the coat. I just don't know how kids they take their coats and they're just like, well, it's somewhere. How many things did we have in the Lost and Found last year at McKinley? Too many to mention. So, I mean, just gloves and hats. And so anyways, I hope that he was able to find his coat and make that happen. I want to wish one of our coworkers at Hy-Vee Gas, Janet Keeler, a very happy birthday. Janet is wonderful. We surprised her with a birthday cake and perhaps some of the greatest singing you'll ever hear. Chad, if you want to roll on that so that folks can hear my deep baritone voice, so you can see Steve Graham right there, Hy-Vee store director Matt Schweitzer carrying the cake, and we'll pick it up right here. Do you have sound, Chad? Okay.
You. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Janet.
I got you on camera finally.
Happy birthday to you.
It finally happened, Janet.
You're 21 now.
Gotcha.
You can gamble.
Yeah. She's like the
Here's what you need to know about Janet. She never wants to be on camera. I mean, I've gone out there to take pictures of stuff at Hy-Vee Gas, and she's ducked behind the counter. But she is a wonderful person. 29 and a half years old today, Janet Keeler. Happy birthday to you. She's so nice. She's like, do you want me to cut the cake and give you a piece? And I was like, no, you don't have to do that. Take it home. So no, we didn't have any cake for breakfast. Today, real quick, Touchdown Tuesday. We know that the Iowa Hawkeyes only scored 3 points, but because my boss, Matt, is so cool, he was like, let's triple it. So 9 cents if you spend $9 today, because 3 points was kind of sad. We love the Hawkeyes, but, listen, we tripled it for you. So today only, you show that graphic. It's on our Facebook page at the Register. Spend $9, get 9 cents. Gotta love the fuel saver. I told you yesterday I had 82 cents off a gallon. I saved like 16, 17 bucks the other day. It's legit, and you might as well get it today. Last thing, Top Care Tuesday. Buy one Top Care product, get one 50% off. Allergy medicine. You got any colds? What do you got? Top Care will save you a lot of money. Why pay for the name brand if you don't know the difference? Top Care stuff is awesome. Maybe, you've just had the colds in your house because school is back and kids bring it home and it just ping-pongs around. Grab the Top Care stuff each and every Tuesday and save. All right. I had told you that my plan with the show was to invite all of the candidates that are running for Muscatine School Board to be on, because I think it's an important school board election or cycle, however you want to put it, coming up here in just a few short weeks. So I'm excited. The first guest joining us today is one of those candidates. It's Mr. Mike Morgan. Good to see you, pal.
Hey, Tone. Thank you.
I had forgotten.
Thanks for having me today.
Oh, you're welcome. Mike was on the show in the old location almost 2 years ago at this point.
With Joe Wieskamp.
So, and Joe might be in the NBA next year.
Hopefully.
The goal would be for Joe Wieskamp to be in the NBA, and if all goes well for Mike, he'd be on the school board, right?
Exactly.
That's kind of the plan.
That would be a win-win.
So I thought it was important to do this. I know that y'all had the forum, the candidate forum already with the League of Women Voters and Sue
Correct.
Johansson. I watched that. That was good to see. But having people on this show, I think, just makes sense. I have, 2 kids enrolled in school currently, not going anywhere, so we'll be in Muscatine for a while. And I guess before we maybe jump into some of the questions that I have for the folks that are watching, Mike, that might not know you. I mean, I assume most people know you, but can you just give us a little bit of your background? Muscatine native, it seems like, right? Or
It depends who you ask.
okay.
I moved here when I was, or my family moved here when I was either 11 or 12, and have been here since. And I'm 56, so
seems like that's a long enough time.
That's
to
a
be
long
called
time,
native.
but there are people that are. If you're not born in Muscatine, sometimes you're not considered a native. And I wasn't born in Muscatine. I was actually born on the campus of the University of South Dakota.
Okay.
But I've lived in Muscatine since the mid-'70s, been involved in the school system since the mid-'70s, either as a student, I'm a 1981 graduate. I've been a para, a coach, sub-custodian, administrator, teacher. So I've been involved with the Muscatine Community School system since the mid-'70s and done a little bit of everything. And this was just, I think this is a great way for me to continue to be part of that, keep that relationship, and that's my hope. So.
I was going to say, it's kind of like the coming full circle as far as someone that was educated in the system. And then you must have been inspired by those that helped form the younger Mike Morgan, right? I mean, to want to get into... And I went to college personally to be a high school English teacher because I had really great teachers in high school. So what was your experience with Muscatine schools, Mike, that led you to want to get involved? Because that doesn't happen with everybody.
Right. And quite honestly, mine was a little bit of the opposite. That my dad was a school administrator, and I said, I'm never going to do that. But then graduated, went to Iowa, came back, was working. I was really working for a hotel chain, and my dad needed some help the day before school started, and he said, hey, I need to have somebody that weighs, a male that weighs at least 150 pounds. That was my qualification to start with.
That's awesome.
And I fit that bill. He said, I just need to get you here till somebody gets hired. Well, at that point, Chuck Van Heck got a hold of me and said, hey, I've got some coaching things. Started in on that and realized that I like to work with kids and like to be around people a lot more than I like to work with numbers. Went back to school, got an education degree, and ran with it. So,
but I mean, it's important because you really have a strong history, and I mean, you've done so much for Muscatine schools, and you recently retired, and you are another retired person that I know that is busier. I mean, have you felt like you've had any time to kick back since you officially retired, and then you decide maybe I'll go ahead and run for school board? That's a whole other animal to tackle, right? That's like 2 full-time jobs.
Right. No, I've been very busy with it. It seems the nice thing about it, I tell people, is that I don't sleep a lot anyway. I've always been pretty active. So now I can wake up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:30 in the morning, and start my day instead of having to wait until 8:30 when the school day starts. You know, I used to be able to go to work at 7:30 and just work for an hour uninterrupted, but now I just, if I have a task, I get it done. I go do it, and it's nice from that standpoint. So I try to stay as busy as I can. You know, I've got my honey-do list. I was telling Mr. Van Heck earlier this morning that my honey-do list is starting to wind down. He's like, he was amazed, and I'm sure that now that I said that my honey-do list is probably going to increase by the time I get home.
So talk about that with respects to, and I don't know your wife, but obviously with what you've done, what you did professionally, and now this decision to run for school board, that doesn't come without support, probably long conversations. I'm fortunate that my wife has supported me in everything that I've done in the last 10 years, which is varied, and my schedule has gone from busier to crazy busy. But talk about that, because that's, having that support at home obviously is what allows you to make the decision to run for school board.
Right. My wife Mary and I talked about this, and really even the time that we were going to retire, talking about retirement, we kind of decided that it was getting close to the time that what we were our daughter got married. We have 4 kids. Our oldest daughter got married in May, and we had always kind of decided that once they decided to have a family, or any of our kids decided to have families, that we wanted to have the freedom to be grandparents.
Sure.
So my daughter's expecting in March.
Congratulations.
She's got twins coming. So,
Oh my God.
so
Good time to run for school board, Mike.
right.
I mean, the obligations aren't that much, I guess, but holy moly,
Yeah.
congratulations for you guys.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So you'll be grandpa to 2 soon.
Right. But
Holy
the
moly.
beauty of that is,
Yeah.
and we still have the freedom to do the school board still allows me to be connected to the community. And I
Yep.
do love the community. I love the school community, but I also love Muscatine. I mean, we chose to live here and have lived in Muscatine forever. Her family had owned a farm for 115 years.
Wow.
So they sold that a few years ago. They just didn't have any more people to work it.
Sure.
But we've been around this area for a long time,
Yeah.
and it was great for our kids. It was great for our family, and I've always wanted to give back. I've always felt like I was a servant more than anything else, and being part of the school board still allowed me to do that.
Sure.
Whereas maybe being an athletic director wouldn't allow me to spend the time with the grandkids that we wanted to spend. So it was, we're looking at that time of how do we still give back, still
Sure.
stay connected to the community, but still have some freedom to be the family and take care of our families.
I think it speaks a lot to your character, because you could just as easily have worked, for all those years, helped a bunch of, thousands of students,
Right.
and then retire and enjoy that next chapter. But I admire that. What do you think, Mike, is, whether it's the biggest, or if you've identified several issues that are currently facing the Muscatine Community School District as a whole? And I don't want to get into the weeds too much, but
Right.
and I'm not going to hold up a red or green light, so I don't have a lot of time constraints with respects to that. But are you able to look and go, okay, I want to get involved, I want to give back, and I feel like, if I'm fortunate enough to get elected day one, we've got to really hit the ground running on this issue?
Yeah, I think that probably one of the biggest things that we're facing is the hiring of a superintendent. Dr. Reeby's been here for a while. He's done a great job, but he's retiring or moving on. And being part of that hiring is going to be very important. And I think that one of the things from my standpoint, I've always been able to get along with our city council, with the Chamber of Commerce. I think it's going to be imperative to involve them and our parents in the decision of what's this next superintendent going to be like.
Sure.
What do we want from the next superintendent? So having that discussion with people and trying to really figure out what we want before we start to hire, before we go to look for that person. We need to have our city council people as part of the hiring group. We need to have our Chamber of Commerce. We need
Sure.
to have our parents involved in that part. Or we need to have our teachers involved in making that decision, because if we don't have a clear vision as a whole of what we want, then it's going to be counterproductive, and it's going to be not only a waste of time, it's going to be a waste of money.
Sure.
And then to move forward, we have to have a common vision from not just a school standpoint, but from a community standpoint. And I think that that's one of the things I really want to try to bring to the table. And I think I can get that done. So.
Leads right into my next question. So what action steps does the next superintendent need to take on day one? Because, we know that maybe enrollment numbers are down, and that how are Muscatine schools and students performing versus other schools across the state, or even in our own backyard when we stack them side by side. It seems like, Mike, the next superintendent for Muscatine Community Schools, that's a big job. And you just
Right.
identified in your opinion, the proper steps to find that right person. I personally feel like consistency is key, right? I don't want to find a superintendent that's looking at Muscatine as a stepping stone.
Right.
We want somebody that can invest, 5 to 10 or more plus years and really work to make it the best it can be for all of our students. So what do you think that person, he or she, needs to do once they hit the ground running?
I think that that's going to be the work of the board prior to that, because I think that if the board does its job, if we reach out to our parents and our community and say, okay, what's our vision? What do we want for Muscatine moving forward? Not just from a community school system point of view, but from a community's point of view. How are we going to grow Muscatine, not just Muscatine schools, but once that's been established, then we hire the person that we think is going to help us achieve that vision. And then the first thing that your superintendent needs to do is say, how am I going to get this? How am I going to meet the vision?
Sure.
You know, I think that seems pretty simplistic, but I think that's really what it is, that simple.
So in the last couple of weeks, mainly last month, there have been some instances where Muscatine, you never want to be in the news for anything negative,
right.
But we certainly had a couple of issues with a student being attacked, and it was videotaped, and then the following day, technically that evening, there was a threat made at the school. You are not that far removed from being in Muscatine High School.
Right.
And one of the things that I have written down is your thoughts on our current security protocols. I think that's an important, I'm sitting here right now, I have 2 kids in 2 different schools,
right.
Across town from each other. I trust the system. I trust that our educators, when there is a threat, whether it's an active one or something that happened the night before, that they're there and they have steps that they take. Is it in the communication, Mike? Because it seems like with respects to the most recent issue, the threat was allegedly made the night before. It seemed like police had contacted the students, removed them, talked to their parents, but then news doesn't really break until that following morning, which kind of induced a sense of panic. It seems like when those things happen, people need to understand that the school has systems in place to keep the kids safe, and that maybe communicating that isn't their first priority. You can see where this can be a little gray area for some people. Do you feel like as a potential future school board member that this is one of those issues that you'd have to look at as a board and say, okay, what can we do to support our schools, when situations like this happen? Or do you feel like, based on your time recently spent as activities director at Muscatine High School, that, we have good systems in place, and maybe it's just about sharing those with the public because they probably don't know, right?
Exactly, Tony. I think that most of it probably is more of a communication issue than it is a safety issue. Again, my wife Mary and I raised 4 kids. They all graduated from Muscatine High School. We never felt like they were not safe. And I part of that might have been because I was part of the system and I understood all the things that happen on a day-to-day basis. Part of it might have been because I've been part of the system since '76 and kind of understand those things. But I don't think that we also don't face the social media aspect of it. I am older. So I'm not quite a Luddite, but I'm also not a native of the social media era. So from that standpoint, I think that people get so much information so quickly. It's not always 100% accurate. And I can tell you that the number one priority of the school system is always to keep kids safe. And if they ever thought that there was a threat at all, they're going to act on it immediately. Nobody's going to wait. But I do think it's a communication we have to adjust to how quickly people get information. Right. And so we have to be able to get people the information that they want quickly. And I think that was probably more of an issue when I heard about kind of what happened. Sure. The other part that we have is, I can tell you that in the high school, and I don't want to preach on things, but when I was in the high school, people talk about we need to go back to the way it used to be. Well, when I went through high school, kids were ripping water fountains off the walls. They were blowing up toilets. There was probably a fight every other week. And when I was working at the high school, we didn't have 3 or 4 fights a year, and I would guess that what just recently happened, that might have been their first major event. Sure. But again, what happened, and I've seen video, but why should I see video? That was, somebody had planned and knew that was going to happen, and they videotaped it ahead of time, and they put it out to people. This is what's happening, and it's tough. So we have to be able to react to that and have a plan to deal with those kind of things.
I also think that with respects to the student of 2019, it's different than 1999 when I was a
Correct.
freshman and a sophomore. It's entirely different. I mean, there's a computer sitting right here, essentially, and that can be such a cumbersome thing for our educators to have to deal with. I mean, how do you teach? I mean, I don't even know if a lot of us think about that, right?
Right.
With everything at your fingertips, how are they? I don't even know myself, and I think a lot of educators that I've talked to said that, sometimes they embrace the technology and use it to their advantage, or they go the opposite direction and say, I don't want to have it in the classroom because it can be such a distraction. And whether you're pro or against social media, the reality is, I mean, once kids get to a certain age, or if they just have an email account, they can get on social media. It's just a different landscape for sure, regardless if you're in Muscatine or where I grew up outside of outside of Chicago in Oak Park. I mean, our students have a lot in common. They're having this different experience than we had. I mean, there's so much content out there to consume, and I mean, I don't want to say that as a society we have issues with being addicted to technology or our smartphones, but I think we would all agree that we do have a little bit. And then they're trying to get an education, Mike, to then set them up for success, whether that's a future of graduating from high school and entering the workforce, or going on to a college education of 4 years or 2 years. I think, as a community, we can all agree that we want the best for our kids. But then if I bring it back, it does start at home, and parents being advocates for their kids and encouraging them, because I think we can also assume that when you drop your kid off in the morning that, they're going to get taken care of for the next 7 to 8 hours. But, and I know that's not really the school board's job, but I think, between more open communication and maybe this will be a board that takes priority, Mike, in wanting to hear from parents more. I know that the meetings are open for people to show up and attend, right?
Yep.
So I would say, if you've never attended before, maybe that's something you want to do if you feel strongly enough, because it's just as easy to get on your phone and type something on Facebook and put it out into the world. But, if you really feel strongly about an issue, you got to show up to these meetings and let your voice be heard. And I know that would be important for someone like yourself with your background and what you intend to do, again, if you're fortunate enough to be elected. I don't know. The student in 2019 is something that I think about often, again, with a first or a second grader, and a PK4 student in my house. Like their experience is only going to change in the next 10 years. It's wild.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready for it, Mike. I don't know. I mean, you know.
Tony, I can tell you, I'm glad you kind of brought, you segued into some of my beliefs. And, and I have always, even being part of education, I still think that the primary educator of every child is their parent. And from a school board side, we have to reach out to the parents and say, what do you want? And that's what we have to, that has to create that vision. I'll go back to that, is if we don't have the communication with the parents and we're not listening to what they want and listening to what our community wants, how can we know how to help our kids be successful? So we have to reach out to our parents and educate our parents and allow them to educate their kids and help and support them to educate their kids. You talk about the computer here, the phone. My understanding is that knowledge doubles every day or every 2 days. And so for us to think from a curriculum standpoint, this is what you need to know, I think that that's either arrogant or ignorant, to be honest. I mean, that's pretty blunt, but it's arrogant or ignorant for us to think this is what you need to know when, why should I be able to tell your sons, hey, here's what you're going to need to know to help you when you graduate high school. With knowledge, it's doubled how many times? Sat on my microphone here. But when knowledge is doubling at the rate it is, there's no way in the world we can know the content that they need to know. We need to be able to teach them how to learn and to enjoy learning and how to solve problems and how to get along with people and how to be creative and create a new world and create a new vision for us. You know, I really want them taking care of me. I want the best world. I'm selfish.
No, that's a good point. And I think, as someone that, 36, and I know I'm older and whatever, but I feel like, my experience in high school specifically, I grew a lot, and I don't know if we can do a better job, because we don't want to rush our kids to grow up. But do we need to start earlier? Should we start freshman and sophomore year and really trying to figure out what do you think you want to do? Because, the cost of college education, I mean, it can be very expensive or very affordable when you look at places like MCC. I guess what I'm saying is, rather than, because the old adage, Mike, seemed like when I graduated, I knew I was going to go to St. Ambrose and Davenport, and my intent was to be a high school English teacher. Yeah. But I had a lot of friends that found themselves at area community colleges, and they had 2 years of trying to figure it out. I don't know if that's best overall, right? Because and the same to be said, we also can't assume that for some students they're going to graduate high school and they have to enter the workforce. So I don't know if that's something that you've given any thought of, and I can't speak to what I know that the high school does a good job of that. Maybe we can do a better job of starting earlier and trying to just figure out what's interesting to our kids, right? Should I be talking to my kids about that now? Probably not. But again, that's something that could start at home. You're both going to be doctors, and it's that easy, right? But do you agree that maybe we should start having those conversations earlier so that our kids aren't, I don't want to say that they're delayed to adulthood, but maybe if they have a thought, we should encourage them to talk about it or job shadow or get out and do, and I know that we have some of that already. I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but should we do more of that?
I do think that we should do more of that. Again, one of my biggest fears, and having 4 kids that have gone through the high school and have gone into the college side of it, I understand. And I was naive going into it. And this is me as a being around education forever. When my kids went off to college, I wanted them to have a little skin in the game. They're paying for their college, and then I try to help out when I can. But to find out that a low interest rate student loan is 13% or anywhere from 10 to 20%.
Right.
That's a life decision. If you make that decision, you're taking on, our student debt in our country right now is about $1.5 trillion.
That's a lot. Yeah.
So to push this agenda or push this that every single kid needs to go to college, if they're not ready for it, we're dooming them.
Sure.
So we're putting them at a disadvantage and making a life decision that could affect them forever.
Sure.
So should we try to, I would encourage everybody to get involved in something. I think that's the beauty of the extracurricular activities. That's also the beauty of having all of the electives that we offer.
Sure.
Experiment with everything. Find something that you like to do. I bet that if I ask you if you like what you're doing right now, you would tell me yes, and that you don't really see it as a job every day. It's something that you get to do.
Yep.
I felt like that when I was in the school system. I felt like that when I was the athletic director. I didn't see it as work. I didn't dread waking up every single day, and that's what we want for our kids. We all want better for our kids.
Absolutely.
Whether they're our personal kids or the kids in the community, we still want better for all of them. And we want them to have a better life than we had to. So the more things that they can experience and let them make their decisions, that's why I said let's go back to educating the parents about how do we support you, how do we provide you with the information that will help your children be happy. Because that's really what we want. We want them to be happy, we want them to be successful.
Well, we're grooming the future leaders and raising the future leaders and executives and the next workforce is in our school system right now. There's a lot of challenges ahead for this school district, and I like what you've said about wanting to involve the chamber and the city council with the superintendent selection, because there are 10,000 people, Mike, that drive into Muscatine every day that earn a paycheck and then hit the road back to the Quad Cities.
Right.
And what is preventing that family, that person, from buying a house? A lot of it is housing, but then also at the same time they're looking at, housing market, schools for sure if you're going to have kids or if you have kids, and then things to do on the weekends. And I think Muscatine, we're kind of, I don't want to say we're stuck, but we're trying to do better in all aspects, right? We need more housing so that someone can, because I drove for a month that 40 minutes.
Yeah.
When I was living in Rock Island still, driving to Muscatine to work at Hahn, and I hated it. So I don't know if people just like driving or what, but I know how much I was paying in gas and I'm never going to have a Tesla or whatever. So I just want to be able, even if we could take half of that, 10,000 number and get them to see, the good things and the good efforts that Muscatine's making as a whole. And maybe they're aware of that, but maybe it is the school systems that is that one hang up. They want to see, a solidified, unified school district. And that's where, this superintendent choice is a big deal.
Yeah.
And this school board election that we're coming up just a couple weeks away, these folks are going to be tasked with, along with the support of the community, and finding that next person to really champion the cause and be able to speak to those leaders of industry and say, hey, we need you to get in front of this workforce that you have that's coming in from out of town, and help them to understand that Muscatine's a great place to be. I mean, I've had opportunities to go, right? And I'm not trying to make it about me, but this is my wife's hometown. It's, welcomed me with open arms, and I like Muscatine. People always said you're going to get stuck in the bubble. This is a great bubble. You got a lot of room in this bubble. It's a very nice bubble. It's a good sense of community. People care about each other. And I think that we're heading in a good direction. But this election for the school board is a big deal. Yeah. Right? And it's a big decision for someone like Mike to run, and it's got to be a trip seeing your signs in people's yards, right? Did you ever think that you would be,
I didn't think that this...
Yeah.
I would have said that when I was in high school, there was absolutely no way. Like I said, my dad was a school assistant principal. I was like, there's no way I'm getting out of... I'm not doing that part of it. But it's been a very fulfilling... I couldn't have asked for more. I've been able to work with great people. I've been able to work with great kids, and I would do the same thing. I probably would do it quicker.
Wow.
I wouldn't have gone to Iowa with the intent of working and getting a business degree.
Sure.
I would have gone right into the education side of it, because it has been rewarding, it has been fulfilling, and I still want a chance to give back. So.
All right, we're just a couple of weeks out from the school board election, and again, my intent is to have everybody reached out to all the candidates to have them on and ask them questions, and for everybody that's watching, hopefully help you make a more educated, informed decision. And it's a big one, and I would love nothing more, Mike, than to have this election happen and to say, you know what, there were record numbers of people that came out for the school board, regardless of ultimately the decision you're going to make. I would never tell anybody who to vote for. That's not my point. But just get out and do it, right?
Exactly.
This is your right.
I want to say that about 3% of our voters voted at the last school board election.
That's not good.
And really, if they want to vote for me, great. If they don't, I agree with you. We need to have record numbers come out. It's November 5th. It's a month from today.
Yeah.
It's the first Tuesday of November.
Wow.
So November 5th, if we can have people come out, at least we know that the elected officials are representative of our community, and that's really what we want. We want to hear their voice. That's where I want to go from all along. I want to know what people think. So how do we create that vision? By hearing everybody's voice, and that starts with go to the ballot box. Go vote.
I mean, that's ultimately your power, right?
Right. That's the
when you
the
get
first
into that
time.
space.
That's your chance to give your opinion. So start on November 5th.
Mike Morgan, the first of many candidates to be on this show, and I hope that you've enjoyed watching. And I just encourage everybody to get out on November 5th, because it's your right to do so. I've voted in every election that I've been able to since I turned 18. And, I've always voted in elections since I've been in Muscatine. New location this year, I think we'll be at the school board office. We were at Mulford Church forever, but we moved. So that's going to be a little different, because Mulford Church, always very quiet, never had to wait, really. Nice people. I'd always jokingly ask if I could have some of their crock pot soup, and they were like, no, you can't, sir. And then one year, the lady, in my grubbiest of state, this lady was like, could you write a column in the newspaper? And I was like, yes, can I finally have soup? And she was like, no. I was like, all right. So, no offense, Mulford Church. You're only marvelous. All right, Mike, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Tony.
Mike Morgan, everybody.
Thank you.
I mean, that's a lifetime of education, and he's looking for you on November 5th. Again, we'll have all the school board candidates here and hear their thoughts on all the different issues. And we're all just trying to make Muscatine the best we can, and that starts with our education and supporting our teachers. Jeez Louise, I mean, I'm the product of great educators my whole life, but specifically in high school, those formative years for me. My freshman year, I think I had a 1.7 GPA, had a great sophomore English teacher, awesome guidance counselor, graduated with like a 3.3, turned it around.
Right.
You know, and that doesn't happen without encouraging our educators and supporting them. All right, we're going to go CBI Bank and Trust aisle cam. We'll get Mike out of here. I like that I can hear Chuck Van Heck in the background, I think. He's still hanging out. Is he still here? Maybe he's not here. I thought I heard him. It was good to see Chuck. We're looking in the produce department. You can see Brian Mueller. Look at how hard that guy's working. He's like a giant walking stick bug out there getting things set up. They had a busy Monday yesterday with that produce sack sale and getting things reset and ready to roll here at Hy-Vee. All right, does Chris have the cart cam? Toyota Muscatine cart cam. I asked Chris, just kind of go towards the pharmacy since it is Top Care Tuesday. We've got a lot of opportunities for you to take advantage of that. Buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one 50% off, not buy one, get one free. So that's good stuff there. We're heading off. There he goes. There goes Chris, everybody. He's probably wanting me to call him so he can hear me, but it's not that easy to find his number. I'll take that. Mr. Morgan, thank you, sir. Much appreciated. I like this little scope we've got on the cart cam. Look at this. It feels like I'm playing GoldenEye on my Nintendo 64 back in 1997, right? That was a fun game, wasn't it? All right, so here goes Chris rocking that cart cam, going across the front of the house, heading towards the pharmacy. We're going to show you some Top Care Tuesday products. There's Phil Schliessman working hard. Phil's been here for just a couple of years. Oh, almost had an accident. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, Chris. Watch out. There we go. Whew, that was close. Do you see that? Chris also going to show you that really cool video game chair that we're giving away this week. That thing is awesome. A lot of folks signed up for that. Yeah, go ahead, back up, show them that, Chris. Why not? Look at that thing. I can't win that. That's a $350 video game chair, or it's just a super comfortable chair that you sit in, right? You could just have it in the house. Whatever you want to do with it is fine, but make sure you sign up because we're going to draw for that on Friday. All right, let's keep heading straight. Chris, you can see straight ahead just past CBI is that Top Care Tuesday painted sign and a whole bunch of Top Care product right over there. Buy one, get one 50% off. So if you're dealing with allergies and you know you've got your allergy medicine, look for the Top Care brand. I promise you it's going to be cheaper, but it's got the same active ingredient as compared to the name brand. So there's that Top Care Tuesday sign, and there's a whole bunch of Top Care Tuesday products over there. You can't miss it. I mean, it's really a good deal that Lori Hardman has with all these different Top Care products. All right, Chris, you want to show everybody that big old hand-painted sign? What do you think? Is that some Top Care mouthwash? You telling me I need mouthwash? Okay. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Good to see you. So, yeah, go to the pharmacy, grab some Top Care stuff. There you go. Boom. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Every single Tuesday. Top Care Tuesday. Buy one, get one 50% off. Chris, now, if you look at some of the displays on the end of those aisles, I guarantee you there's some Top Care stuff because Lori's always got it out. And it's all ready. So, yeah, kind of maybe right past that one. Let's see if there's any Top Care stuff. I don't think I see any there. Maybe on the next one. Is that some Top Care stuff? Maybe. I think so. Yeah. Does AF mean autofocus, everybody? It's got to. There you go. There's some Top Care stuff right there. Boom. Great example. Look at the 20-cent fuel saver on it. Hey, now. So you'd buy one for $15.99, right? You'd get the second one for $8, essentially. But you can mix and match with the Top Care products. So maybe you needed some hydrochloride. I can't pronounce some of these words. They're big, fancy words, everybody, all right? Here's some more Top Care stuff. I think that's the allergy stuff right there, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, all-day allergy. So compared to the name brand, you're saving a lot of money. You could buy one of those and get the second one 50% off, half off. Awesome deal. And you can see it's got a nice one of those compare and save signs. And I'll tell you what, look at that. So that same product down the street at another place is going to cost you $6.50 more. That's a great deal right there. And, of course, the good-looking Go Hawks display. Really happy with how that came out. Our friends, there's Delmer. We caught him. You see that? I clicked my heels, and Delmer appeared. There he goes, everybody. our friends with the Atlantic. But why is he taking a basket upstairs? I never know what he's doing. What's he doing? What's he need a basket for? What's he got? Toto in there? Dorothy. Delmer's Halloween costume is going to be Dorothy, by the way, from The Wizard of Oz. There's Phoebe. Also caught Phoebe. All right, very good. Toyota Muscatine. Love the cart cam. Appreciate their support of the show. They've been with us since the beginning, if you'll have it. All right, so like I said, school board candidates on this show, it matters to me as a parent of students in Muscatine. Is that the air conditioning? It's that loud? Holy smokes. Wow. There is just like a hamster running in a wheel up there, just cranking that fan on. I don't know if you can hear that at home. I hope that you can't, but my goodness, it's working, that's for sure. Having the school board candidates on the show means a lot to me as a parent with two students, again, second grade and PK4. So my kids are going to be in school for a long time, right? I also have a 1-year-old at home that'll be in school in a couple of years. So definitely care a lot, and we'll talk to, like I said, I've extended the invite to all school board candidates to have them come in on this show. Thank you, Ashley. And we hope to have as many as we can. And it started today with Mike Morgan, so thank you, Mike. And again, it's not about trying to get you to vote one way or another. These candidates are coming on free of charge. I have no agenda other than inviting them here so that you know more about these folks, because I don't assume that a lot of you watched the League of Women Voters forum that they had. I did on my phone because I have an exciting life. No, I did because I want to be informed, and I also have a show and an outlet that I can do the same. So thank you again to Mike for being here. We appreciate that very much. All right, today, October 8th, is Fluffer Nutter Day. I don't even know what that means. I'm gonna be honest with you. The National Today Is calendar, not sure. Now, I know what a pierogi or pierogi is, National Pierogi Day. Pierogi, if you pronounce it correctly. I think that's how it's pronounced, is pierogi. I have had pierogi several times in my life. We probably have some in the frozen department, and pierogis are only marvelous, right? So there you go, right there. Also, American Touch Tag Day. You going to play tag as a grown-up? You ever watch that movie Tag from a couple of years ago? Based on a true story, that group of guys that have been playing tag for like 30 years. All right, Chad, do me a favor. Can you? Okay, so are we gonna? There's touch tag. Can we see Fluffer Nutter? Is it a sandwich? It looks like it's a sandwich. Is it marshmallows and peanut butter? Is that? Why don't I know? What is this? It's a extraordinarily odd combination of marshmallow cream and peanut butter. Okay, so it's a peanut butter and marshmallow cream sandwich, the Fluffer Nutter. I've never had a Fluffer Nutter in my life. You know, I've had some weird food combinations in my life. I'd be the first one to sit here and tell you, you want to have the best peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You open that sandwich up, you put some Doritos in there. But Fluffer Nutter? Marshmallow and peanut butter? I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that. Pierogies, though. Peanut butter and mayonnaise? You're a monster, Chris. Never. Peanut butter and mayonnaise? I can't get behind that. I like mayonnaise. I like peanut butter. Together, I don't know if they can be friends. I'm not sure about that. But listen, we live in a free country. To each their own. Pierogies are great, though. Or pierogies. I love pierogies. They're fantastic, right? Absolutely fantastic. Pierogi. Yeah. Sign me up for a pierogi. I'm in. Pierogi. Okay. I like to say it incorrectly. Pierogi. It's kind of like people that can't say gyro. Gyros. Let me have one of those gyroses with some of that tzatziki sauce. It's a gyro with tzatziki sauce. I have one of my dear friends, Bob, is 100% Greek. So we know how to say gyro. Can you get a gyro in can we put a gyro on the menu in the Market Grill? What's a guy got to do? A nice spool of meat, and they do the thing when they carve it. Nice pita. Gyro. Got to have tzatziki sauce. Right? I love a good gyro. Too many vegetables on that one. Don't want that. Where's the meat? Too many vegetables. You want a good gyro? There's a better one right there. Look at that. It's a good one. I think there's places in Muscatine with a gyro. I don't know. Shameless plug for Uncle Pete's in Moline. I put it out there. You go see my friend Chris Panassis. Nice Greek guy. Get a real authentic gyro. Or a gyros if you'll have it. Or a gyrocopter. It's kind of the same thing. All right. Holiday catering coming up. Boy, can I just get one of those for the house? What are we having again? Gyro? Oh, yeah. Just a bunch of meat spinning around a fire. Oh, baby. It's just meat rotating around fire. Oh, it's just glorious meat around a fire. Yes. And then you carve it. It's good stuff. All right. Holiday catering. If you work for a place, I'm getting choked up. If you work for a place that needs some catering, we're coming up into the season where you'll probably be putting together like a work party or a get together. Look at this pricing. So Kim Beckman and I put this together, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So again, you're serving a bunch of people. You don't want to do the work. Let Hy-Vee handle it. How about $8 per person? You could pick 2 meats. So I'm going to go with roast turkey and ham, and then your choice of potato, vegetable, rolls, butter, rebuttal, and tableware for $8 a person. So that's awesome, right? I mean, there's 4 of us right here, so we'd be at, what, $32 for a nice little meal? That's pretty sweet. Some other options include the classic, so that's the traditional, the classic, only $9 per person. Pick 2 meats, choice of potato, choice of vegetable, rolls, butter, choice of dessert, tableware. And then if you pan down, Chad, you can see some of the options with respects to the potatoes. I'm just going to tell you right now, party potatoes, they are a sin. They should not be allowed. Party potatoes are too good. They are literally a party. They are the best. I don't even know. It's like mashed potatoes and cheese and bacon and chives. OMG, party potatoes. They just make you feel good. It's like a warm hug. Party potatoes. Vegetables, they're fine. They're on there. Dessert options, check it out. And then if you're looking for some non-traditional options, you can see you could do like a pasta bar. Maybe that's what you want to do for your catering. This is the time of the year to start talking about this. If you know the decision maker in your workplace and you want to say, hey, Hy-Vee's got some good options, you can reach out to Kim Beckman and we'll start sending these flyers around. That's my intent, at least. And how about this? If you order before November 1st, you'll receive an additional side dish for free. That's awesome. So maybe you want to get an extra thing of party potatoes that you don't share with anybody. These are my party potatoes. That's a party for one potatoes. It can be a party for one potatoes if you try hard enough, right? And if you're not seeing something that you're looking for on the menu, Kim literally can customize it. Maybe you're thinking, I love my employees. I want them to have prime rib with a side of freedom in America. I don't know. What do you want? Like prime rib? They can do it. Anything. Maybe you just want like Hy-Vee Chinese. I don't know. Call Kim. She can do it. Do it all. Maybe you want gyros. That's what I want, Kim. I want a spool of meat and a stack of warm pitas and a bucket of tzatziki sauce. Sign me up. I love it. Still looking to hit 1,000 carnations for the kids at the University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital. That's the hope next Friday, the 18th, to deliver 1,000 carnations. Can we make it happen? You saw this ad. Donate $1 at the register. Go to Hy-Vee Floral. Donate $10, $5, whatever you want to do. We'll turn those into carnations. And then again, the goal is to bring as many as we can, hopefully 1,000, to the hospital next Friday, just ahead of the big homecoming game in Iowa City. We'd love for you to help out. And at the same time, on the same ad, talking about some toys for kids, purchase those throughout the store. You can see it right there. Purchase a toy, donate it, we'll bring it to the hospital, right? Pretty cut and dry. Near customer service, there's toys, there's a collection bin, there's toys right outside the Market Grill Express here, from Beanie Babies to Hot Wheels. If it's a toy in Hy-Vee, grab it, throw it in there. We'll take it to the kids at the hospital and help them out. Really looking forward to delivering some nice stuff to them. Okay, a couple more things and we'll get out of here. Again, talking about the flu shot, right? I mean, not to sound like a broken record, but hopefully you're getting the flu shot. My wife got hers, so that's good. if you've got kids, definitely want to keep them safe from influenza. This isn't the stomach bug, right? That's the big misconception, is that, I was throwing up. That's not typically influenza, right? Influenza is body aches and high fevers and, unfortunately can even take people's lives. I mean, it's a really serious thing, and the flu shot will help keep you safe, right? I mean, they're always working on ways to improve the flu shot. I don't really buy into the conspiracies of the flu shot not helping. I think that's a little ridiculous. I told you that when I got my flu shot in August, people were saying it's too early, and then there was confirmed cases of influenza in Muscatine County. So, the people that were telling me that were not doctors, by the way, so it ultimately doesn't matter what they said, right? I mean, no offense, unless you're a doctor or someone with like the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. I don't hold a lot of stock in what you say. It's too early to get the flu shot. What are you? Show me your degree. You got a degree in Facebook criticism or what? Because I have people that went to school for like 9 or 8 years or more in that pharmacy that are you know what I'm saying? Like, don't trust the internet. If you should get the flu, just get it. And if you can get it at Hy-Vee with no appointment necessary, and they'll give you the fuel saver, it's a win-win in my opinion. You can get it right now. Hy-Vee pharmacy manager Nicole Duelmeyer, she's here. I saw her. She's ready to give you the shot, just like that, right there, right there. You don't even feel it. I didn't even feel it. 2 years in a row, didn't even know it happened. Right? You know what I felt? I felt my tattoos. I felt those. Flu shot, didn't feel it. Didn't feel it. It's not because I'm dead inside. It's because I didn't feel it. Because they're so good at giving the flu shot, maybe I have an extra layer of padding. I don't know. I've never been a very skinny person. I don't know if you feel it more if you don't have a little bit of a buffer, right? But I didn't feel it last year, and I didn't feel it this year. And I'm keeping myself safe, everybody. We'll go to Wapello tonight. Last thing I'll say is Isles Online. Going to Wapello Tuesdays and Thursdays. Love this service. Meeting folks right off Highway 61. People are telling me it's getting darker earlier. It seems pretty obvious. Yep. One of those things that happens. So I don't intend to change the time for this pickup. I think it works well with everybody's schedule. You can shop online with Hy-Vee Isles Online. Happy to bring those orders to Wapello. They lost to their local store last year, almost a year and a half ago at this point. And for folks that, maybe they work in Muscatine or not, maybe you just live in Wapello, literally our team right now, they're shopping orders. We'll get them ready. And then tonight, 1 or 2 Hy-Vee vans will be there to meet you, and they'll get you all taken care of. Hi to our friend Peg on Facebook. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. It was great to see you at Bingo last night, everybody that came out. We had a good time here in the Market Grill Express. I'm going to tell you this right now. Iowa Hawkeye football this Saturday. Kickoff at 6:30 p.m. Hawkeyes hosting Penn State. You see behind me the bar, right? And if I go this way, see all the draft beer. For the game this Saturday, all draft beer, again, 25 cents each. What? 25 cents. So if my mom is in town this weekend, I'm going to ask her, Mother, do you want to watch my kids so I can go back to work and have a beer for a quarter? It's a good deal. Plus the appetizer buffet. We'll show you that tomorrow. It'll be on the Discover Muscatine back page ad that you get in the mail today or tomorrow. But quarter drafts are back, $10 app buffet. I don't know where else you're going to go to watch the Hawkeye game. Nobody has better specials than that. I mean, I know that for a fact. Nobody in town will give you a draft beer. And it's not like a thimble. That's not what this is. You're not getting a quarter beer is not like, ooh, it's a little medicine. That's really good. No, it's a full-size brewski, right? For 25 cents. It's a great deal. And the appetizer buffet also pretty darn cool, right? Now, maybe I just want a thing of wings. Or one of the first game, a thing of egg rolls. Like, that was the best idea ever. How many egg rolls I ate? 2. Not a ton, but I was like, I wouldn't have never thought to put egg rolls on there. That was great. So good job to the crew that works here. They do a wonderful job. All right. I think that's it. I've said enough, right? I feel good. Thanks to Mike Morgan. He is made the decision to run for school board. That election coming up on November 5th. He was our first guest on the show talking about the school board, and my intent, like I said, I've reached out to everybody to bring them on the show to be able to talk to you, the folks that should get out on November 5th and vote, right? I mean, if you have the opportunity to vote, you should. Please. You have a lot of power when you go vote, and I don't care who you vote for. Agendaless, right? Even if or if you don't have kids, you still can have an informed choice, and it's your right to do so. So I would just encourage you to do that. All right, tomorrow on the show, he's back in the saddle, everybody. His ears must have been burning because we were talking about B.O.B. Bob Howard yesterday. And what does Bob Howard think of Herky the Hawkeye sliding across the counter at his Hy-Vee CBI Superbank? Is he okay with that? Would he give Herky a job? We'll talk to Bob about that, but most importantly, Bob's coming on to talk about this junior achievement event coming up at Geneva Golf and Country Club, and I can't wait to see Bob on the show tomorrow. Thursday, we'll talk to our friend Mitch. I'm never going to be able to pronounce Mitch's last name right. I'm never going to be able to say it right, Mitch. Muscatine Power and Water. Mitch is a good guy. Don't expect me to pronounce his name right. Zitkowski? I can't do it. Mitch Z, everybody. Mitch Z in the morning. He'll be here. And then on Friday, we'll talk to another school board candidate, Mr. John DeBeat will be here. So I hope you'll tune in for that live at 8:30 on Facebook and YouTube. Of course, you can check out this show on Muscatine Power and Water Channel 5, whether you watch it live or if you catch us at night in the evening. I appreciate you tuning in. If you ever have any feedback, guest suggestions, the email address is on the screen. If you don't have an email account, you can call Hy-Vee and talk to me, 563-264-2420. You can email me personally. I'm pretty darn tangible. I'm here a lot, or I'm easy to spot in a crowd. I stand out like a sore thumb. I'm going to have a pretty cool mustache soon. It's either going to be cool or it's going to make people uncomfortable, but it's for Halloween, all right? I just have to keep the goatee, at least for family pictures this Saturday. Although, would family pictures be even better if I showed up with a stash? They might be the best family pictures of all time. Just going to put that out there. Maybe. You never know. What if it was just a Fu Manchu for family pictures? Right there. Pretty gnarly. We'll see. All right, thanks to CBI Bank and Trust, thanks to Toyota Muscatine and team staffing, but most importantly, thanks to you, John and Jane Q. Public, for tuning in to the Hy-Vee Today show with yours truly. Come out and see us. Have breakfast with the show going on. Wouldn't that be awesome? I mean, you can sit right here. Got a seat for you right here. Right there. There it is. Got a seat with your name on it. You come have breakfast, and we'll put it right on Chuck Van Heck's tab. He said that was fine. So all the bacon you like, everybody, will get you taken care of. That's it for today. We'll see you soon. Take care, everybody. Goodbye. Bacon?
You're watching Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone.
Be very, very quiet while hunting wabbits.
We'll do it again tomorrow with more local guests from in and around the Muscatine community.
I'm trying to emote for the play that the alumni are putting on in Wilton this Friday, Saturday.
Questions, comments, know a great guest? Reach out to Hy-Vee Today with Tony Tone on Facebook or via email, hyveetoday@gmail.com.